All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. It's Thursday nights with Mel Doerr and myself. How are you doing, my friend? It
I'm
feels,
good. Just a little tired today, but
yeah,
hanging in there. Tuesday, I usually do Aloha Tuesdays, but Arthur had, I think, a doctor's appointment yesterday. Uh, I was, I was last night. We are going to do it last night, but then some technical difficulties. So anyway, I'm here today.
yeah. Energy with the eclipse this weekend.
Oh,
It's
hey,
been pretty draining. I was
here.
gonna say, did we do a show last week? I'm trying to remember. It feels like it's been a while, but I think we did a show last week.
I don't know. Did we?
I
I can't
think
remember.
so.
Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that up. I apologize.
You're good.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever. I've been so swamped with the holiday weekend and some stuff going on this week and this weekend. I haven't had a chance to go live. So I was glad that you were able to do the show tonight. Always fun.
I look forward to it. I haven't done any shows this week either. Linda was out of town, so we didn't do Linda's show.
Yeah.
Didn't do Arthur on my show this week. So, well, I'll
Well,
get
we're
back.
here now.
We'll get
Lots of stuff going on to read on, right?
yes, we'll get back into the swing of things. Hey, I want to say to everybody, I've got almost 100,000 subscribers, and I just want to thank everybody for your support, your continued support. And I never thought I'd get to that many subscribers, but here we are. So when I
That's
get
awesome.
the YouTube thing,
You get
I'll
your
hang it
plaque.
back here somewhere. I'll find a
Yeah,
space for it some way. But anyway,
I love that. We'll have to do a channel celebration party for you when you get there.
there you go. Anyway, so what do you have coming up, my friend?
Uh, I've just been super busy. I do have, well, I'm finishing up Holy Fire Reiki class next weekend. One of my classes in October and November is full. The other one, I still have plenty of availability. I think it's Sunday, October 26th and November 16th. If I'm getting the dates correct, they're both on Sundays. I have, I think, 7 spots open for that. And I've been busy working on getting my Holy Fire Master Level class put together. So I should be making some announcements on that pretty soon.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, I've got some openings for Peru, but if you're going to do it, it's a really short amount of time. But Iceland is full, and then in Benicia, uh, in November with
Yes.
Linda Grindle. So go to www.lindagrindle.com/events and go down to Benicia. I think there's 4 tickets left for it. It's almost sold out. And then next year, I've got a cruise. I just got it together for next year. A cruise on the Danube River. It starts in the Czech Republic and it comes down into Germany, across Austria, stops in Bratislava, stops in Vienna, ends in Budapest in Hungary. That's going to be in May, and then September of next year, the Galapagos Islands. I'm really
Awesome.
excited about both of those. So, yeah.
You got some fun trips planned.
Yep, we do. But anyway, and we've got questions to answer, right?
Yeah, we got a bunch. I just want to say I saw Libby from Meister Taros here. Hello, good to see you. Where do we want to start? I have a bunch of questions starred, but I think since there's so much going on, do we want to talk about Trump's health? My guides, timing's always super hard to predict, but my guides were telling me August health event. And even though nothing's been confirmed, I'm telling you, over the weekend, Trump was not doing well. And his cabinet members and aides were freaking out.
We've been saying for a long time that I saw dark clouds around his head area. And I mean, I predicted before, and I don't wish harm to anybody,
Yeah, of course.
but I've been having, it's weird that I was having this feeling that not I knew he was still alive,
Mhm.
but that he was going to cross over soon. And then I've been having dreams, and I was talking to Linda Grindle about it, and I put it on my YouTube community board that I have dreams where I'm seeing the headlines, and I said Trump is dead, and I just keep getting that recurring dream.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think my intuition tells me that, over the weekend, he was probably hospitalized because a lot of the roads to, what
To
is that?
Walter Reed.
To Walter Reed were closed. So, and then I was talking to a friend of mine who's a retired pathologist,
Mm-hmm.
and she specialized in looking at slides under a microscope for people who have had kidney transplants, and she can tell by the cells if the body's rejecting the transplant. And she's retired, but we got to talking about Trump and his health, and I asked her, with the swelling in his legs, can venous insufficiency cause that? And she said yes, but not to that degree.
Yeah.
It can be caused from congestive heart failure. But she said when she saw his hand, she also thinks that he's got renal insufficiency. That's what they called it. Well, now they call it chronic kidney disease.
Yeah.
But that can take a long, long time. But she said, his hands look like the hands of someone who has, renal failure. That doesn't mean he's in full kidney failure right now,
Right.
or whatever. But my feeling is, his heart's not pumping sufficiently. I think his blood sugar is probably all over the place. And I think that, that's affecting his kidneys. So
every time I read on his health, I get the sacral chakra, which governs the kidneys, the heart chakra, and the third eye. So like kidneys, heart, brain. I'm almost wondering, well, if you're in congestive heart failure, I'm sure you're probably more susceptible for clots and strokes, right?
Yeah, but more like kidney failure too. Congestive heart failure just means that your heart is not pumping sufficiently or has a coronary insufficiency. It's not pumping as well as it should. If you get into late stage heart issues, and obviously it's going to be terminal. But congestive heart failure just means that, the heart is pumping harder because it's trying to get rid of excess fluid, and the excess fluid builds up. It can either be in the lung or in the extremities like legs. So they give you diuretics to get rid of the extra fluid to take the burden off your heart.
Well, and then that sometimes overworks the kidneys. I had one of my dogs had fluid buildup around his heart, and diuretic did not agree with him.
Right. So there you go.
I felt when I was tapping in, I did feel like there was a minor procedure done. I was thinking maybe he was having mini strokes, but maybe like a stent put in. I'm not sure if they normally do stents for strokes, but stent is what came through when I was focusing in on it. But all of his aids and cabinets, I felt like were freaking out.
You can, with congestive heart failure, you can have TIAs, transient ischemic attacks, or tiny strokes. I'm not a doctor, but I do think that there was a health event he had, yes, and that's why I was in the hospital.
And I don't feel like he's out of the works for the health either. I feel another one just around the corner, another
episode. Have you seen him lately? I mean, he looks terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think they pumped him up full of drugs and steroids for his announcement, but even still, he didn't look well. His hair was a mess. He looked like he just got out of bed.
I think he's probably, this is just for entertainment purposes only. I had gout in my left heel, and it's just now healing up, and they put me on a steroid pack for the 7-day one. You take six one day, 5 the next, but you don't take them all at once. And boy, I was jittery, and I felt like I could climb Mount Everest with a string of dental floss. I was like, so it would make sense that, him pumped full of steroids, and then some of the irrational thoughts and irrational decisions he's making. Like, when a court said that him sending the National Guard to LA was illegal, and then he turns around and is going to try to send him to Chicago. And now I just read today that he claims power to summarily kill suspected drug smugglers.
Yeah.
And that's illegal. It's unconstitutional. So,
Well, I think technically it's an act of war too.
well, it could be, yeah, because they just attacked a ship today or
Mhm.
whenever in the Caribbean because they said
Yeah.
it was drug smugglers. He's itching. He's itching for a war, itching for it. And so, but a lot of this National Guard stuff and the stuff he's doing, in my opinion, my psychic opinion, is divert, just detract, distract, um, trying to get the attention off of the Epstein files.
Oh, for sure.
And now I understand there's a gender divide among Republicans between males and females on the Epstein files. Look at Nancy Mace, what happened with her. So
yeah, you have a bunch of well, not a bunch, a couple female Congress people signing the discharge petition. I don't know. I wasn't feeling like that discharge petition was going to come out, but I feel Epstein file related stuff coming out this month for sure.
Well, Mike Johnson is like trying to suppress the files, and
so with Trump, he's calling all the people and they're telling them not to sign it because it's
right.
a hoax.
Right.
He said it was a hoax when all of those poor victims were up there speaking, and then put a military jet to interrupt their press conference, which was intentional.
And I think even some MAGAs, I never thought Lauren Boebert would like whatever, but she was like, who was the other one? Mace. Wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody? They were all
MPG, yeah.
They were all like in favor of the victims, and they want those files out there. So, my guides keep telling me with Trump, the women will bring him down, and here we are.
Right. Always seems to get in trouble with women, right?
So, and I think they're going to turn against Mike Johnson, because how can he say it's a hoax when you have these women up there testifying, crying their eyes out as to what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So, absolutely. And Mike Johnson better be careful, because this whole Epstein thing might be the very thing that causes women in the House to come up with another petition to oust him and put somebody else in. And if he's not careful, my guides are telling me that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, it's going to be a lot of stress on him this month too, besides the Epstein stuff, because I think they have to fund the government again.
And Kevin, the more they try to squelch the whole Epstein thing, I say Epstein, whatever. Epstein. In German, it's Epstein.
The more the MAGA base is going to turn on him.
The more the women, especially, the more they try to suppress it, that Mike Johnson tries to suppress it, the more that the MAGA women and the Republican women in the House are going to go against him. And I'm telling you, at the risk of being redundant, my guides are showing me that they're just like they got rid of the one before him. What was the guy's name? The one before
McCarthy.
I'm sorry?
Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy. Just like they got rid of him, they're going to do the same thing to Mike Johnson, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I've always felt like the speaker was not going to be in there for too long. I mean, he's been in there longer than I thought he would, to be honest with you.
Well, what Mike Johnson is doing, and once Trump is out of office and once Vance is gone, now they're going to start looking into Mike Johnson for obstruction of justice.
Mm-hmm. I feel a big scandal, and to me it feels like it's money related, but then also could even be kind of predator stuff himself.
How could anybody that calls themselves a Christian say that the Epstein thing is a hoax? And when those women have been sexually abused and they're up there telling their stories, crying their eyes out, how could any God-fearing person or anybody that has any iota of Christianity in them at all, how could they ever say that those women were lying and it was a hoax? Wrong answer, Mike. So that goes to show you that he's not religious. Because if he was, he wouldn't be supporting.
Maybe have a little bit of sympathy and compassion for those poor women.
That is correct. I agree. So anyway.
So lots of stuff going on. We have some questions start here. So let's get started. Laura wants to know, Eric and Don Jr. have a Bitcoin and crypto company that just opened on the stock exchange for over $1 billion. They claim Trump is not involved.
Yeah,
Will
right.
they always be rich?
Hold on.
Will they,
Can you
your
hear
BS
my bell? That's my BS bell. Yeah, Trump's not involved. Yeah, okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we know Trump is making money off of this too. I felt like a big financial scandal, and it felt like it was crypto. So I'm wondering if it is the family business. I felt like something coming out like the next month, like end of the month, early October.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that's going to be coming out, but yeah, these meme coins and all this and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a while, it might look like they get by with this stuff, but ultimately they won't.
Yeah. No, I see some trouble for them, and for some of the Republicans too, for like the stock market manipulation.
Right. And I see legislation being passed futuristically to say they can't engage in stuff like this. But what they're doing, I mean, it teeters on illegal, and at some point it's going to be said that it was illegal what they're doing. So
yeah. Well, I just threw a couple cards. Will they always be rich? I do get that there's legal problems. Justice card was the first card out, but then you have the thief that runs away in the night too. So are they always rich? They probably will always have some kind of money, a lot more than us. But no, I do feel like there's definitely some legal stuff coming up for them.
I wrote down here, empire confiscated.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, a lot of the ill-gotten gains and stuff that they've gotten illegally, I see futuristically a lot of that being seized by the government and saying,
Mm-hmm. But I mean, are they going to always be wealthy or have some kind of money? Probably. But I agree with you. I feel like a lot of the stuff, well, Trump owes a lot of money. And I actually felt like stuff with his estate after he passes being taken to pay his debts. Like Eugene Carroll. I feel like Letitia James may do another lawsuit against his businesses to uphold the original ruling. I feel like a lot of money from his estate being pumped out.
I do too. Another thing I just want to touch on real quick is completely off the subject, but
yeah,
people here are up in arms and about the National Guard coming, but
yeah,
that's going to bite Trump where the sun doesn't shine as well. Now, police departments all over in the Chicagoland area, the villages, are saying they are not going to assist ICE and the National Guard or anybody to help make those arrests. The police here are hands off. Our governor is like, whoa. The mayor of Chicago, same thing. Trump wants to incite violence. It's a litmus test for martial law, but it's also a diversion from the Epstein files.
He did it his first term.
Right. But the other thing is, with this whole, National Guard thing, he's talking about, well, I'm going to end the violence. And I had somebody say, well, children are being killed. Yeah, they are in our schools. So rather than, let's do this diversion thing like Trump is doing with the National Guard to make it look like he's doing something, but he's not, which is illegal, by the way. Why don't we pass gun control legislation and protect our children in the schools so they can't?
Well, then they would lose on all that NRA money, so they don't want to do that.
But where's
and it's not about crime. It's all about power and the optics and to create fear
and intimidation. So people will, oh my God. So, and to create dissension among voters. But it's like the mayor of Chicago said, where are those guns coming from? Alabama, Louisiana, states like that. And, Trump talks about Chicago's okay. I think Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, has the highest crime rate of any city in America. So, Donald, why aren't you sending the National Guard there? Right? Because they are red. That's why.
Mhm.
Ever notice he's sending National Guards to like Baltimore, Chicago, places where they're blue and with black mayors? Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, it's a repeating pattern, right?
Yeah. So that's going to
Imagine that.
blind him. The courts are going to say he'll take it to SCOTUS. And my feeling is SCOTUS is going to say that he can't do it. He can't make the military his police department. And that's what he's
Yeah.
trying to do. But he will not win, I'm telling you. People
Sorry
hear,
if you're all hearing the dogs go crazy. I think my husband just got home.
well,
So
they're barking on the truth.
yeah,
It's a litmus test for him to try National Guard and this and that. The midterms are coming up, so all these diversions. But I don't see huge amounts of violence in Chicago. But I do see police departments, everybody, most of us standing strong and saying, you will not get by with this here, Donald.
absolutely. Well, and it's going to be part of this whole people standing up and people have had enough of all of this. Like
It's
I said,
really
the protests are going
energizing.
to get bigger.
It's energizing people to
Absolutely.
stand up. And, the avalanche has started and is gaining momentum. Keep seeing a lot of peaceful protest, and he'll try to have agitators to start violence, but it won't work. So
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you to Teresa for your super sticker and for Aries Fire. Appreciate that. All right. I had heard about this. What do you feel about Space Force being moved to Alabama instead of Colorado?
He will move it to Alabama, but it won't stay there long.
It's interesting because just looking at Alabama, Colorado, I do feel like energy short term around Alabama, but then maybe it's moved back to Colorado afterwards. Because Colorado is actually really standing out to me on the question here.
He'll move it to, my guides say, yes, he'll move it to Alabama. But once he's out of office and once, Vance is gone, they'll take it out of Alabama and put it probably back in Colorado.
Yeah, I get it moving, going somewhere else other than Colorado. People are disappointed with it being moved there.
Right.
Probably a lot of the workers too.
Right. So it'll be in Alabama briefly, but maybe tops a couple years, but then out of Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a waste of money.
It is a waste of money. They talk about, how much the Democrats wasted. Trump has spent more money than any president in American history on frivolous BS.
Right. So. Meanwhile, he's on vacation every other day, golfing, not getting anything done. But remember, we'd hear about Obama golfing and always being on vacation. And
right. Well, the hypocrisy kills me, right?
Yeah. This is a good question. Sharon Donnelly, hey, Mel and Kevin, if the Epstein family reveals their files, will this include everything, i.e. names, or have the info redacted? I do feel like the estate is going to drop some info, but I don't think it's going to be everything. I'm actually feeling, and I've read on this quite a few times, it may actually be Putin or a foreign country where I'm feeling a lot of the Epstein stuff being leaked.
Well, then they'll say it's not true, blah, blah, blah.
They're going to say that anyway. It's a hoax, remember?
Right. There's no file. Remember Pam Bondi? But now there's a file. My feeling is they'll redact it, but I agree with you, Kevin, that then the entire file will come out and there will be proof that it is legitimate and not some hoax. But everything that goes against Trump, ever notice, it's always a hoax, right? It's a hoax.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
This is actually interesting. I have the whistleblower in the world. So
Whoa.
the world, governments leaking the information here. But you're right. It's going to be the delusion, illusion, distraction, deflect. Because a lot of big names, powerful people are not going to be very happy about that. I don't feel like we're going to know everybody. But I do think a lot of the major players will get their names and have proof of the relationships. I actually feel too there's a financial tie between Trump and him funding a lot of the trafficking stuff, and I think we're going to hear about that too.
It just hit me that Elon Musk knows a lot about this too, and he's got his hands on some files.
Mm-hmm.
And I think through another government, I don't know if he'll work behind the scenes with that government to make those files public. So when you were talking about another government revealing the files, that's what came through for me. So, people ask in the chat that Elon Musk has been very quiet, but I'm telling you, he is working behind the scenes to defeat Trump in the midterms. Not for him to run for office, no, but he wouldn't support Democrats. But he's gonna work. He's already working behind the scenes too.
Well, and I think a lot of this is, all of the wealthy elites that funded Trump and gave him money. Their whole plan was to get Trump in there to get his big BS bill passed so they could get their tax breaks. And now they want JD Vance as president. So you watch, Musk and Vance will get chummy while they all throw Trump out to the wolves. But I don't see that going well, because when Trump goes down, the whole party is going to implode, and his base is not going to be very happy.
Well, when you said that, I got cold chills, and my guides are telling me, for entertainment purposes only, that Musk behind the scenes is already talking to people around Vance. I don't know with Vance directly, to try to set the stage.
I actually think that some of the people that want to take Trump down may be the ones that leaked the Epstein stuff. A lot of the wealthy oligarchs.
There you go. Oh, of course. Right. All right.
Antoinette's granddaughter. Hi, Kevin and Mel. How will the meeting of China, Russia, India, North Korea, etc. affect the U.S. in economic terms? Will the dollar still hold?
I'm not worried so much about that. I'm worried about Trump's tariffs, which courts have said are illegal, and how that's going to affect the dollar. What is that organization that Trump started? I can't think of the name of it, but it's China, India, Russia, South Africa. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, the currency thing that they're trying to prop up.
Right. So
is it BRIC?
Yes, BRIC, I think, right? Is it, what was it, BRIC, did you say?
BRIC or BRICS or something. I think it's BRICS, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. BRICS, yeah.
Right, something like that. And China was always involved in that. But China has to be careful, because we get a lot of our stuff manufactured in China, and they're playing hardball with Trump. Like, if you put this tariff on, here's what we're going to do. So, China's kind of playing both ends against the middle. But I see the dollar losing value, but that's because of Trump's policies, not so much about what these meetings are going to do.
But I don't feel like a major shift in world currency from the dollar right now.
Right, exactly.
I'm not so worried about them all meeting in economic terms. Like you said, Trump's doing enough damage on his own with the trade wars. But I'm worried about them all foreign policy wise coming together to work together for all the wars that they want,
right?
For all the takeovers. And I would not be surprised, with Trump being such a joke, you watch, China's going to start intimidating Taiwan again, because they're not going to have the pressure from the U.S. to stop them.
I have said that too. And, they might even talking about invading, Trump would look the other way, but then don't forget that you'd have the rest of Europe that would assist Taiwan. And so, and Asian countries helping Taiwan as well. I was trying to look and see what the name of that organization was. Give me a second. Keep talking while I'm looking for this.
You're good. Somebody says breaking news: Washington D.C. is suing Trump. Oh, good.
For what?
Yeah, they didn't say for what. I'm assuming for all the National Guard people, but I'm not sure. All right, so
go ahead, Kevin. I'm listening.
I just touched this too. Mike says, "What happened with Katie or Virginia Johnson, who accused F-45 and Ep? Will she come out or remain silent?" I do feel, and I don't know if it's either of these ladies, but I do feel one of the survivors, one of the victims, coming out and accusing Trump.
His name is clearly there somewhere. And my guy showed me that's why he's running scared. He's creating all these diversions. And that's why they're saying it's a hoax. And they're also saying it's a hoax to try to set Maxwell up for pardon. Because if it's a hoax, if the Epstein files are a hoax, why is she in jail?
But the thing is it's going to backfire because all of his base knows it's not a hoax, and Trump can say it till he's blue in the face. They're not going to believe that or backtrack, what he was wanting to put out there when he was campaigning. But he's just making himself look guiltier and guiltier to his base.
Right. You're right, Kevin. It is BRICS. Britain, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So those are BRICS countries that we were talking about, and they have those summits occasionally, but they do want to control the world and get people on their side, but they might get a few more countries. But anyway, I'm not worried about that effect on the dollar so much as opposed to Trump's policies.
I get a woman coming out, this Queen of Swords, speaking her truth, standing in her power.
Right.
I feel a female coming out accusing Trump.
So it's like we were saying, Maxwell, she's in jail because of the trafficking and part of what was in the Epstein files. And so if it's a hoax, if the Epstein files a hoax, then it would tell me psychically that they're using that. It's a hoax, it's this, it didn't exist, and redacting it as an excuse to pardon Maxwell. And if they pardon her, ooh, what's going to hit the fan.
Yeah. I think he was actually really considering it, but I think with all of the pressure from the victims coming out, for more information coming out, I don't know if he's going to be able to actually pardon her.
Well, let me play the devil's advocate at the risk of being cocky. I'm going to say, when did that ever stop him?
That's true. Very true.
Anyway. Go ahead.
All right. No, you're good. Meg says the state of PA is suing EM for giving millions of dollars to voters. How will this turn out? Will it lead to more discovery details of what he actually did? I do feel more information about the election coming out, but it doesn't feel like it's related to the $1 million giveaway. But I see him losing in court over this, and it doesn't feel like it's jail, but I feel like there's some fines there for him.
He is going to lose over this, and I'm going to say it's illegal to offer, $1 million to voters to vote a certain way. You can't interfere in an election like that by buying voters. They're going to say it's illegal. So I agree. He's going to have to pay some buku bucks on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's still the richest man in the world, but it's not going to really hurt him long term. Although I feel like he's going to do that himself because businesses are all tanking in the stock market, like Tesla.
Well, Pennsylvania will win the lawsuit. I think if it goes to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court.
Well, he's bribing people for votes.
Right. The Supreme Court will rule in Pennsylvania's favor. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla, their stock is going way down. I mean, Tesla is going to, I don't see it lasting, to be honest with you.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Is MTG putting on an act? Will this head to a cat fight with MTG and Loomer? Meow. Yeah, they've gotten into it in the past, and I don't feel like they're. I do feel more cat fights between MTG and Loomer.
Well, meow is correct. It's going to, you know, it's going to not a cat fight, a fight between two tigers. Well, meaning, well, she's not a tiger, but I can
Yeah,
see claws out. If
stretch your eyes out.
if you've ever seen cats fight, I mean, real cats fight, it ain't pretty. I mean, it can get vicious, and I see it's going to get vicious. But then she spoke out in favor of the women for the Epstein thing, right? The victims, didn't she? I think. I never thought I would agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I never thought I'd say this.
Doesn't it feel like an alternative universe when MTG actually makes a little bit of sense?
Right. And as vile and despicable as she is, my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that opinion, as I think everybody else does. So,
at least she spoke out about those women that were abused.
mm-hmm.
So, I agree with her on that. And it looks like she wasn't afraid, but now a lot of the guys are going to start going after her. And I just wonder, because she's such a supporter of Trump, I got a funny feeling because Trump's saying it's a hoax, it's this, it's that. Even Pam Bondi is going to criticize Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to start talking about Pam Bondi. And, I think she's going to be instrumental in starting another petition to get rid of Mike Johnson, and also to take a hard look into Pam Bondi and the obstruction stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't trust MTG. I think she's a disgusting human being.
I don't go as far as I can throw Sears Tower.
I feel like she is starting to go up against Trump, and she's not very happy with him right now, I feel like. But I almost feel like she's going to alienate herself out of the party, and there'll be no place for her in the party.
Just as my guides had shown me, there was going to be a huge falling out between the DIC, Cittadini, the DIC, dictator in chief, sound it out, and Elon Musk, and that happened, and that's going to escalate. My guides are just showing me there's going to be a huge falling out between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's coming quick.
Yeah. Is she putting on an act? I do think that she wants the truth out there. But in a sense, I do feel like it is an act too, like an act of defiance.
I don't think she's putting on an act. I think what she's saying happened to her is true. So she's not putting on an act. But I also think that she's using it for her own political gain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
That's what my guides tell me anyway.
Mm-hmm. But I almost, like I said, I feel like this backfiring because she's really going to alienate herself from the MAGA party.
That's right. Well, it will.
Maybe not with the voters, but with the congressmen and like you said, I do feel like her and Trump getting into it as well.
But she's going to have other females, MAGA females, in the House that she'll coalesce with.
Mm-hmm.
And here again, I detest MAGA and what it stands for, and I detest Marjorie Taylor Greene. But it's going to be a real you-know-what show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Now this is a good question. Mangled Unicorn says, are we on the timeline where we will see some justice occur before he goes toes up? I've never felt jail for Trump, unfortunately.
Neither. I never saw him in jail. I saw him convicted. I never saw jail.
Yeah, I've never felt jail for him. I always said I felt like the health would take him out beforehand. But in a sense, I do kind of feel like he is in like a mental prison, um, with the dementia. He's kind of trapped in his own body in that sense, and he's not going to have a very good life review. So I know that for some of us, we've been traumatized for the last 10 years, and we really want there to be, jail time and justice and all of that. But just know he'll get his karma for everything that he's done.
You know, I had said once, or actually more than once, many, many times, that, my guides were showing me that just as Trump's behavior has eaten away and hurt other people, that's what his body and his brain will do to him. And I don't wish harm to anybody,
Mhm.
but that's starting to play out. Many of us in the community, yourself included, Kevin, predicted he would be convicted but never go to jail.
Mhm.
And here we are.
Oh, this is a really good question. Let's look at this. Debbie wants to know, are the victims going to be protected? I feel like there's too big of a spotlight for them to do anything against the victims right
If
now.
anybody starts threatening them, not good. I'm hearing they already are protected. And my feeling is some of those victims are going to file lawsuits against people in the House and against people in government for the cover up of all of this.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I feel like they're safe and protected. There's a lot of stability around them, security. They just really they want the truth to be revealed so that they can move on with their lives, being trapped in this constant trauma. And I do see them being able to walk away after their story's told.
could I put this up, Kevin, just real quick?
Yeah.
It says, hello, this isn't a question for Mel and Kevin. I'm asking the chatters for prayer. I had 2 huge setbacks in the past week. I'm exhausted with this existence. We don't want you to be exhausted with your existence. Things will get better. Just stand up. Sometimes setbacks seem like a curse, but really,
Sometimes it can be a major blessing.
correct. So, everybody, please send prayers to All Good Names Taken.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, of course. And not to minimize what All Good Names Taken is going through. I think a lot of us are kind of feeling that way right now, feeling a lot of setbacks. I think during this time, it's a wonderful time to take a step back, do the self-reflection, breathe, practice being present in the moment, and focusing in on what it is that we want to create in the world, aligning with our purpose.
Sometimes they want us to give up, but if we give up, they win. So don't give up.
Of course. All right. Where are we at?
Here. Nora Garcia, I think, is the next one. Or did I jump ahead?
Okay, I got one here. Sunny Valeria says, will Mickey Sherrill, Democrat, win the New Jersey governor race in November against Jack Caterelli, Republican? I see the Democrats winning in New Jersey and in Virginia.
I see the team's winning. That's right. Oh, Virginia, good. I'm glad you said that because I felt like a yes to that too.
Yeah, and I feel like they both of the state houses are going to be, for both states, are going to be Democratic too.
And you know what I see, Kevin, when you were talking, it just my psychic light bulb went on. It's been going on a lot lately. That I see a lot of the new Democratic governors coming in and the old ones that are still in office, even coming stronger together, like coalescing, if you will, and having this coalition of Democratic governors that are going to be really, really strong in fighting Trump. Now, Trump will try to punch back, but they're going to be a lot more stronger than some of the Republican governors in the Republican states. In fact, I see many more states in this country becoming Democratic with Democratic governors. And it's the people's way of saying that they want states to stand up against Trump. So I don't know how many states have Republican governors or Democratic governors, but in the not so distant future, I see a lot more states having blue governors and the governors of the red states diminishing. So you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Mel. It's like all of our checks and balances are kind of non-existent right now. All we have is the courts and these Democratic governors, these states really standing up to Trump, which is why, you know, you're seeing Newsom getting so much press right now and a really good spotlight for him with his run for president in 2028.
I
Because
love what he's
these
doing.
are the ones that can actually fight back, you know, with the state power.
I love what he's doing.
Mhm.
You know, giving Trump like a taste of his own medicine and out trumping Trump, the memes and all of that.
Yeah.
So right now it says we have 27 states with Republican governors and 23 with Democrat. Okay. I see that number changing. I see more like 30 states with Democratic governors,
Good.
and then 29 or 30, and then the rest being Republican. So if it's 30 states with Democratic governors, it would be 20 states with Republican governors. I see that whole
Kind of flipping.
power structure changing.
Good. Yeah. Well, and we're really seeing a lot of these state officials are really the ones that are starting to be like the resistance movement against Trump, like Mandami and running for New York, and you have Pritzker, Newsom. I feel like Wes Moore is going to get some attention too, but we got like a focus in on the states, state election,
or at least the balance of power shifts where it's going to change to be 27 or 28 Democratic governors and then 23 or 24 Republican ones. But the larger states, you know, like California, some of the really larger states are going to end up having Democratic governors. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I see Democrats doing really well in these. Well, and we're already seeing it in the special elections. Was it a state Senate race in Iowa?
yes,
Had a Democrat win, and it was a big shift from Trump. And I think even Florida, their Democratic turnout was way up in a couple of those state races too. They just had a special election. So
I see a lot of upsets coming in the South where, you know, states that have traditionally had Republican governors would have Democrat ones.
Yeah.
So at least 2 or 3 southern states are getting Democratic governors. That's what I see within the next year or two, or whenever their elections are coming
Good.
up.
Yeah. Deb wants to know, how will SCOTUS rule on the tariff question? I feel like they're going to rule it's illegal.
They're going to rule it's illegal. They can't do it because it has to go through Congress. And, you know, I think SCOTUS is starting to realize that, you know, they've opened Pandora's box with Donald Trump, and they have to put, you know, they can't put the beasties back in the box, but they're going to have to do something to try to tame it a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple justices never, like, you know, Clarence Thomas, and that goes without saying. But who's the other one? Alito.
He can't make up a national emergency when there is none, to send National Guard in states to set tariffs against other countries. He doesn't have the power to do that.
The only way that the court could rule in Trump's favor, now this is what my guides are telling me, is if they would overturn the Insurrection Act. Because the Insurrection Act lists 3 or 4 reasons that a president can send National Guard troops or military into states. But what Trump is doing, none of those are in the Insurrection Act, even based on Trump's own admission of that. So, you know, I do see some states filing a lawsuit, maybe even Trump, to try to get SCOTUS to overturn the Insurrection Act. But I don't think they're going to do that. Right.
I don't see that.
I don't see that. So they're going to rule that what he's doing is unconstitutional. I guess the next question is, though, they will rule that, but Trump is middle finger. I'm going to do it anyway. And so And that, I think we're kind of already in a mild constitutional crisis.
No, well, for sure.
And if the court rules he can't do something, he continues to do it, that creates a constitutional crisis. So,
yeah.
And that's what he wants.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He wants unchecked power.
Well, he's not going to get it.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before, but Clarence says, will Trump lose immunity? I do see them. I don't know if it's a total reversal on immunity, but I do see them putting more guidelines. So presidents can't just do whatever and be immune for it.
So before, what they said, if it's a presidential act versus a personal act, and presidential act is immune, personal act's not. But then I think they're going to put some more guidelines on it and say, but wait a minute, if it's a presidential act and that act is unconstitutional, then it's illegal, and he doesn't have immunity for that.
I agree. They're going to define it more than what they did, because they left it very broad.
Right.
But yeah, I do see, in a sense, them. You said they opened Pandora's box. I agree. Them really kind of cracking down on all of that.
That's what I see too.
All right. I have time to do just a couple more questions. Sherry wants to know what happened with Nancy Mace. Why did she flip-flop? I think I think from her reaction, and I don't know if she said this already, but I think she's had her own. She was a victim in herself in younger years, so it hit her really hard.
Right.
Kind of re-traumatized her.
And I think then she saw how they're trying to vilify these women, and it's like, but wait a minute, this happened to many of us. And how can you say this is a hoax when these women are here telling their stories? And that's exactly why she had the anxiety attack. My guides tell me, and I'm not trying to diagnose because I can't do that, but there's a little bit of post-traumatic stress that's going on.
Yep, I just got that with my cards too. There's PTSD there from the past. And the survivors telling their story kind of was a little bit re-triggering for her. Right. Made her open to compromise, to kind of stand up against Trump. Not that I like Nancy Mace. I'm not a big fan of.
I'm not a fan of Nancy Mace. Marjorie Taylor Greene is despicable.
Exactly.
But how's the saying go? It's funny. If you are the enemy of my enemy, then you're my friend. Is that how it goes? Something like that. But
yeah, I'm in agreement with everybody. We can't stand her or MTG.
I can't stand her.
I'm just saying, as hard as it is to believe, I do think it was kind of reliving her own trauma, and so maybe having some compassion for the victims. That's not to say too it wasn't for the attention as well. I mean, I think it can be both.
I think it was attention. I think it was political gain, but I think she also had some trauma in her own life.
Yeah.
But at least she stood up for those women, and she's not going to change her opinion on that. Nor will Mace, nor will some of the other women. So.
All right. Teresa says, what can we do to help MAGA see the light/truth of the situation more quickly? It's not up for us to wake people up. They have to wake up for themselves. And unfortunately, sometimes you need to hit rock bottom and really suffer to get that wake-up call that you need.
It's like Lena Rodriguez says, Trump's little base will be his little base even when he's long gone. They won't say they were, but they will, right? They'll be there. But it's like she said, people aren't going to change their mind about Trump overnight. It's little by little. It chips away and chips away, and little by little, people break away from him.
Well, when it starts affecting them personally.
Correct.
So when they lose their own health care, or they end up getting deported,
right?
When they actually start feeling some of the repercussions of this current administration, That's what's going to wake them up. They're not going to listen to us.
No,
And it's not our responsibility to we're responsible for ourselves. That's the only thing that we're in control of. Our destiny, our journey. We can help guide people if they're open to it, but we can't force them to wake up, you know. And it's not on us.
It's like Martin Niemöller said, you know, it's the first they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me.
Yeah.
I think he was he a priest or something, but he was referring to Nazi Germany, but the same thing's going on here. So, but the good thing here is people are speaking up.
Yeah.
So,
Joyce Matthews asked, Trump is trying to manipulate the mayor's election in New York City by offering Eric Adams and Silwa jobs in his administration to help Cuomo against Mandami. Oh, I hadn't heard that. How will this turn out?
It won't. It'll blow up on his face.
Yeah. I said I do feel Mandami is going to win. At first, I was feeling it was Cuomo when I was reading on it beforehand, but that I feel like it's definitely shifted. But all of the rich and elite in New York City would really like to get Cuomo in there. But I feel like the momentum's with Mandami. I don't feel like they're going to be able to manipulate this.
I don't think so either. And here again, it's just Trump, you know, making deals with anybody, so he can, you know, if he's got his puppet in New York City, then he can control New York City, and that's the mayor of New York City and the mayor of Chicago. They're the most powerful people in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's trying to break that power base, but it won't work.
Yeah, I feel Mandami is going to win. They're going to try to throw secrets out there and try to muck up the race like they always do. The tower's coming in, and typically I read the tower, this would be like a card of chaos, but I feel like it's shock because of all of the momentum, and I'm getting women specifically coming out from Mandami and him being celebrated, being the victor. The victory parade there with the Six of Wands. So I'm not successful with
Democrat, and if he wins because of Trump's bidding, then you know who's going to be running New York City, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see him winning. I'm sorry, Kevin, I interrupted you. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. Sorry, I was looking at the comment.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I don't feel them being successful with that. They may offer them something, so it's just Cuomo versus Mandami, but
right.
I think the tide has shifted in Mandami's favor. I actually feel like it's going to be a blowout. All right. Anything else before we wrap up, Mel?
No, I'm good. I'm just going to go home and get some dinner on the way.
Okay. Long day today?
Yeah, but I could have left the office earlier, but by the time I run home and get ready to do a YouTube show and all this and that, then it's just like I just stay at my office. So I have a Spanish class tonight, but I'm just going to go home and rest because I was tired. I'll do my Spanish class next week. I don't like to miss class, but I don't think I'm going to miss that much. So
okay. And when is Peru again? Are we good for next week on your channel?
Yes. Peru is September the 16th.
Okay. So probably the following week.
Right. And then Iceland is October the 1st. So
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll talk this weekend.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please go over to Mel Doerr's channel and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate all of that. And we will be on real soon. All right. Have a great evening, everyone. Sending you lots of love and blessings. All right, bye, everyone.